Fantastic. Absolutely incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into our band show. I'm your host, Christian Evanko. Happy Memorial Day weekend. And we are just so thrilled to be joined tonight by the incredible phenomenon from right here in the Hudson Valley. For those of you who are just tuning in, don't go anywhere. We're not even halfway through yet. There's still plenty of music and so much more conversation to be had this evening. So if you like what you're hearing, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. It would greatly help the show. It would greatly help the band. It means the world to all of us. Now, with that said, as promised, more conversation. I'd like to introduce my co-producer, the man switching the show behind the scenes to the front of the show now. Pat, welcome. How are you this evening?
Doing really good, Christian. I would like to thank Phenomenon for being here. It's a great show, and I'm just rocking out here on a Memorial Day weekend. So, gentlemen, really do appreciate it. Thank you for this fantastic time.
Yeah, right on. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Having a blast.
So just to keep the conversation going and jumping right in, I know Christian teased this before. He was talking about, the paranormal activities that you might be interested in. So I just wanted to know, are we talking about, what is it, 5 on the DEFCON scale, which is relatively safe, or are we going down close to that 0?
Oh, man, all kinds of rabbit holes. I don't know. There's just so much out there, and it's so interesting, I'm
a lot
on
of late nights on YouTube?
Yeah, Ancient Aliens and all that stuff. But yeah, I definitely have a strong interest. I actually had some paranormal experiences as a kid, believe it or not. So some of that stuff, shameless plug, I'm actually going to be on a show called Family Spirits talking about some of those experiences as a little kid. So that show's out there. You can Google it. Again, it's called Family Spirits. It doesn't have a network announced or even when exactly, but they're starting to advertise it. And it's a spin-off of a show called Haunted Discoveries. So again, Family Spirits is where it is, and you can check it out.
Let me ask you this. Are you NDA'd, or can you share your experience with us?
No, I can. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get sued by the show.
I feel like that's perfect for the paranormal now.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I, just in a nutshell, because there's kind of a lot to cover, but as a little kid, I just had a couple experiences after my grandfather died. So there were some things that I heard that were comforting voices, actually, as a little kid, and also a really frightening experience that happened that I think actually saved my life. I was heading to a staircase as a little kid, holding a big cardboard box that I couldn't see over, and right before I went to go walk down the stairs, I actually heard a voice yell, "Stay back!" Like really loud, high-pitched voice. It was really frightening, obviously, and scared the crap out of me, but I think that it honestly was for... to save my life, because who knows what would have happened.
How little were you?
I was probably like 5.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a little kid.
Now, was this, you heard it with your ears or inside of your head type of yell?
And I think I heard it with my ears. Like seemed audible to me, and my mom and I were the only people home and on that floor, and she had like no idea what was going on. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Does she recall this story? Have you spoken?
She recalls me like running to her, and that's about all that she didn't hear anything, but she remembers me being pretty scared and just, shaken up.
Well, whatever it was, thank God for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, talking about the paranormal, we actually have from one of our very own crew members, Steve, who decided to drop in a fun fact. And Steve is doing a great job right now, just quality control and making sure that everything's running smoothly. Steve says, fun fact, the gray ones are the ones that are mostly associated with abductions. And he said, stream sounds great. Thanks, Steve. We appreciate that. Drop an alien in the chat as well to show the band some support. And if you really think they're as out of this world as we do, maybe a UFO emoji or two. But what do you guys know about the different types of aliens? What can you tell us?
Not a whole lot myself.
You want me to take that?
Yeah,
we
you
are
guys
the
are the
aliens.
No, go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, I'm probably the nerd here of all the alien and UFO stuff, the resident nerd in this band, but I definitely, have heard a lot of those stories too, with like gray aliens. And, believe it or not, the Hudson Valley, this whole area is actually one of the greatest hotspots in the country for UFO activity. So a lot of things have occurred here. And for those that don't know, that book, Communion, that was a movie in the 80s, but that was actually based right here in the Hudson Valley. So there's a lot of, kind of notable things that have occurred right here in this area, so to speak.
I remember watching that movie as a kid, and it definitely creeped me out for sure, but it was intriguing also. It was really interesting.
You know what movie freaked me out? Signs.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually shot at my school. So when we were away for college or for the summer in college, they shot that movie while all the kids were gone, and we had like cornfields at good old Delaware Valley University. So that movie was shot there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since you brought that up, very interesting fact that is that, what did you exactly say about the Hudson Valley? I want to make sure we get this right. It's the what?
The Hudson Valley, it's a hotspot for UFO activity. Like going back to the 80s, there's a lot of experiences and stories. You can just Google it, and there's a ton of stuff that'll come up on that.
Wow. Okay. Do you have a specific example that comes to mind?
Well, definitely, like I said, that story Communion was based out of, the Hudson Valley. But I know that in the 80s, there was like reports of a triangle-shaped UFO, and that was like a really big story at the time. And that happened like right in Westchester over one of the highways over there. I'm not sure which one, but that...
Sawmill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back in those days, there was like a bunch of people pulled over on the side of the road checking it out. And it was pretty big deal at the time.
Wow. That almost sounds like a traffic hazard.
Yeah.
My mom actually texted me. She's watching the show. She's loving it, by the way. She says you guys are very good.
Hi, Mom.
She said
Thanks.
Pinebush UFO capital. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's where the festival was.
Yeah,
Placed in a good spot.
Yeah. I was in Beacon a couple of weeks ago, and there's a local bookstore there. They have a couple of books on the subject, and there's been a lot of sightings and a lot of activities. So I don't remember all the details, but definitely if you're interested, check out that bookstore. I don't recall the name of it, but it's one of the little bookshops there. They have at least 2 or 3 pretty large volumes dedicated to all the activity that's been just in the Hudson Valley and that kind of Pinebush area in particular. So
Nice.
definitely worth checking it out. Yeah, I was intrigued as I was looking at it, but a lot. There's a lot.
Across the river as well, I was in a bookstore in Kingston, and I saw this book at 3 different bookstores throughout the course of the day. So my third time seeing it, I thought, all right, I'm going to buy it now. It's a book called The Day After Roswell. I've only read the first 3-ish chapters, but it's essentially about this retired Army lieutenant who was read in and was exposed, supposedly, to UFOs. So...
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting stuff. And also that paranormal museum out there in Pinebush, they host a lot of events where you can go and like see people who claim to have been abducted, and they kind of tell their story. And I actually attended one where Travis Walton was speaking about his abduction story, and that's the guy that the movie Fire in the Sky is based off of. So if anybody saw that was like a 90s movie that scared the crap out of me as a little kid. So it was cool to meet him and hear his story. But yeah, the Pinebush Museum, they host a lot of cool events like that.
Hey, Pat, you ever been to the Pinebush Museum?
Chris, absolutely not. I don't know why I said it that way. Like
Maybe
a
we have
strong
to
thought.
go.
I was
Sounds
never there.
interesting.
I was never there.
Yeah, it could be a total fun trip, Christian. So maybe that's a little our band show retreat for the crew and ourselves.
Yeah, so Pat, what's your thoughts on all of this paranormal stuff, since you did pose the initial question that got us going?
Yeah, I'm kind of eating it up. I'm enjoying listening to the stories and all the movies that you're referencing. And I guess one of the things I was talking about with Christian was, if you're into all the paranormal stuff and obviously you're into a lot of the movies, like, do you like listen to a lot of these soundtracks and kind of maybe get some ideas for your music coming from this fascination that you have?
I don't know that we've had it really like influence the music too much, except for the Pinebush Fair. I think we played the X-Files theme at that.
That's right.
But other than that, I think we've been keeping it mostly true to our like own unique, music tastes. But some of the stuff is maybe borderline in the psychedelic realm with some of like the effects we use. But maybe that can kind of like speak to that a little bit. But no, mostly it's kind of like Christian said, it's a lot of blues-based influence.
So where does the adoption then of the name and the UFO come in? Is it just kind of adding another aspect of your personality to the band?
Yeah, kind of. It's like, it's more or less, this is where we're from, right? The Hudson Valley. And, some of those aren't aware, but a lot of people do know the Hudson Valley is a big hotspot for paranormal and UFOs. So we kind of play and like lean into that. And it's just sort of like part of who we are, essentially.
Yeah, this is part of the makeup of the band from having that first gig at the UFO show.
Nice. I love that. So we're going to do a quick flash round right now of questions from the chat. We do have a couple.
Great.
And I'm going to pose this this first one to, two of you spoke up when you said you were experts, and we've heard a bit from Mike. So now let's go to Kenny. And Kenny, the chat would love to know, green or gray aliens? And, don't box yourself into those guidelines if you might know more than us.
I don't know anything. I'm good.
Kenny just doesn't want to get probed.
Learn
Whatever color,
more.
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Oh, all right, fair enough. And another chat question, and we'll pose this one to the whole band. Favorite cryptids?
Ooh, man, I don't know.
I have noticed an
That's a
uptick
tough
of
one.
Bigfoot signs all across the Hudson Valley in recent years. I don't know if you guys have any explanation behind that, but I've been trying to figure that one out for quite some time, to be honest with you.
Bigfoot signs.
I do like Bigfoot. I do like that Finding Bigfoot TV show
That is a fun one.
where they run around with the night vision and bang on the trees.
Isn't
Try
it
to get
something
him
you
out
know they're
there.
never going to catch him, but yet you keep tuning in, right?
Yeah, I feel like they're getting really close.
How old is he?
They're hot on the trail, but when you're a master of evasion, what can you do?
And he still hasn't popped up on Google, what's that, Worldview? Somehow, right?
Google Maps.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's been
yeah.
evading. He's a tough one to catch. But
He's-
I have a Bigfoot air freshener.
It's too
That's
fast.
about as much as I'm interested, I guess, on the
Yeah.
Bigfoot front.
What about you, Pat? You a Bigfoot guy?
Can't say that I am Christian. Although there are kind of a couple of movies that are on my list to watch centered around Bigfoot, but not exactly jumping to the top of the queue. Yeah.
Fair enough. Speaking of movies, are there any, I know we brushed upon a few a little earlier, but any specific sci-fi movies that really set you guys into this love of the paranormal? Maybe even to go as far as adopting, like, the UFO is like a big part of your, when I think of Phenomenon the band, I think of the UFO because it's in your artwork and your branding. And
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a bunch of great sci-fi movies, especially when we were growing up. I feel like there was like tons in the 80s and the 90s that were, influential. But I think Fire in the Sky was a big one. That was like a really cool movie. And that was like the first kind of, based on true events type of movie that I ever saw. So that was like extra scary as a kid because I thought it was kind of like realistic and it could happen. So that was a great one. And I always loved that movie. And then there's like... I don't know, so many good movies like Space Odyssey. What was the
Kubrick.
Oh,
yeah,
2001?
Oh,
yeah,
man,
it's a
that
really
is one of
cool
my
movie,
favorite
yeah.
movies of all time.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great
just really
one.
artistic and just awesome to look at, really.
Yeah, definitely. Such a beautiful movie. How? What a terrorizing thing that is, and we might be living it right now, right? With AI upon us and all that. Who
For
knows?
sure, yeah. Yeah, I just started watching Dark Matter the other day. I watched the first episode of that. That looks like a pretty cool show, actually.
Okay, I've heard good things. I haven't checked it out yet, though.
Yeah, we're checking it out. I just watched the first episode. So far, I'm a fan, and it's a pretty intriguing concept. So I'll definitely keep watching.
Very cool, very cool. Now, we don't have much time left on this next interview, but I'm intrigued by one specific thing coming up in this next set, and forgive me for a spoiler, but I just have to ask, we're doing a cover, which is rare for our band show, but we're more than happy to do it, especially with the song as fantastic as the one you picked, but Sober by Tool, what is the inspiration behind covering that song?
I think, we're all fans of Tool. I actually just saw them recently at the Garden. They were amazing. Really cool band, really kind of interactive show with just amazing like light work and all that. But, I think we're all fans, and it's just a cool, heavy song. And we're just all into that kind of heavy, grungy vibe of the 90s where, like I was saying, we have a lot of our inspiration. And Barry kills it on the bass on that song, and it sounds really good. We just
Great.
enjoy playing it.
Yeah, have a lot of fun. It's a great tune, and it just kind of fits the motif of the band, I think, really well. So we love playing it. And then whenever we play it live, the audience we get a big reaction. They seem to love it. So that keeps it interesting for us, for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, Pat, you're a big Tool fan, huh?
Yeah, Christian. Basically, because of this addition to the set list, I've been jumping back in and listening to some of the albums. It's quite interesting that they go years between all their albums. I think what was the last one was like 10 plus years or something like that.
Well, we had some good
Yeah.
A Perfect Circle music in there, but yes, you're correct. You're
Yeah,
correct
yeah.
on that. The softer side of things, where I naturally gravitate towards. But with that said, like you said, Pat, jumping back in, that's something we definitely have to do. I know I'm dying for more tunes. I'm sure you are, and I know the audience is. So, guys, thank you so much for being here, and we're going to turn it over to Phenomenon to take us into the second set of the evening, starting off with an incredible tune called Evermore. Gentlemen, take it away.